Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm actually just about to shoot some skincare reaction videos, but first I decided, why not answer some assumptions? Because you guys have probably seen these assumption videos that are going around, and I thought they were so fun, so I'm gonna do it. I hardly ever do videos like this, but these assumption videos have been really fun. Basically, I asked you guys to, send me what assumptions you have about me, and I'm gonna answer if you're right or if you're wrong. And some people are very right, some people are very wrong. So this is really fun. So let's get started on it. All right, so first one, you were homecoming or prom queen or something like that. I was prom queen, woohoo! Yeah, I was prom queen. What tells you that I was prom queen? I was also dance team captain for 2 years, and I was also in charge of a lot of different organizations and stuff too, because that's what I did in high school. You never go to sleep with your makeup on. True, I never go to sleep with my makeup on. That doesn't mean that I didn't make that mistake back in the past. In my 20s especially, when I would go out and party and do all that kind of stuff, I'd go to sleep with my makeup on sometimes, or I would use makeup wipes. Yeah, I'm guilty of that kind of stuff. I'm paying for it now. I always say that. Like the things I did in my 20s, I'm paying for now by really working hard to maintain my skin and keep my skin looking nice as I approach my 40s, really. So yeah, I don't go to sleep with my makeup on anymore. No matter how tired I am, you guys, I always remove my makeup. All right, so it looks like I have a few people that make the assumption that I've never dealt with acne before. One thing I will say, I did not deal with acne as a teenager. So I was very lucky in that sense that I didn't have that the teenage time to deal with my acne. But as I became an adult, that's when I started dealing with it. And in some ways I found that to be harder because it was I didn't deal with it at a young age. So I didn't know how to deal with it when I was in my early 20s. And then, I started to learn and do all that kind of stuff. When I got off of birth control, sometime in my late 20s, I really started to break out. I had huge breakouts on my back. My husband actually, when he had started dating me, would tease me that I was on steroids and stuff like that because I had such bad breakouts, and I was just breaking out all over, and I didn't know what to do with it because it was so bad. It was around that time when I started to really learn about prescription strength Retin-A and all of those kinds of ways to deal with your acne. And I finally eventually did deal with it. But then in my early 30s, I started to have thyroid problems and health issues and stuff. And one of the ways that it was surfacing was I was breaking out in this area, which, I feel like sometimes breakouts are really, they really show you something's going on internally. And I swear I went to different estheticians. I saw 2 dermatologists who tried to cut it out and shoot it with cortisone, do as much as they could. And it was these weird breakouts I was getting just would not go away right here. And then I finally got my health in check, and that's when it really helped it. But I also started to learn what made a really good esthetician, what makes a bad esthetician. And I know you guys have asked me, can you tell me how I find a really good esthetician? And it's just so hard to say because it's you have specific needs, just like your skincare, right? You have specific needs for your skin. When you want to find a good esthetician, you have to almost try people out and see what they're doing to your skin, how much they educate you with your skin, how much education they just have in general and everything. And I think the more you try, the more you start to realize who is good and who isn't. Obviously you can do reviews and take suggestions from people and stuff like that. That's always helpful as well, but finding a good esthetician will really help with acne. You never answer my request for early 20s anti-aging skincare routine because you don't know one. Not true. I get these questions all the time. Can you do a 20s skincare routine? Can you do a teenager skincare routine? Can you do a 30s skincare routine? It's just kind of broad, right? When you guys ask for something can you do a skincare routine that deals with hyperpigmentation? Can you do a skincare routine that deals with acne? These are things that we can address a lot more closely because it's an actual issue. Being in your 20s, you could have 0 issues and beautiful skin and just need a few products to just maintain it. Or you could use lots of products because you have acne problems. You're dealing with you don't know how to remove your makeup well and doing all this kind of stuff. So usually when I'm doing these skincare routines, they're usually really broad, and I'll tell you, this is more for this kind of an issue. But when you say something can you just do something for this broad range of an age group? It's not really that feasible because everyone has different needs no matter what age they are. You are super organized. So I'd say like when it comes to really important things like stuff for work, money, like that kind of stuff, I'm really organized in that sense. But when it comes to like my house and like products and my paperwork and all that kind of stuff, I am not very organized, and I luckily just have an amazing team that helps keep me organized. You've gotten filler and other enhancements. Yes, but that's not even an assumption. It's just all over the internet, you guys. Have you not been watching? I tell you all the stuff I do. Your bathroom is messy with skincare. Yes, my bathroom is messy with skincare. My bedroom is messy with skincare. Our studio is messy with skincare. My like cabinets, my countertops, everywhere. There's skincare everywhere, and it drives my husband crazy. It's actually gotten to the point where it's driving me crazy, and I'm starting to request that brands don't send anything anymore because I actually do find it to be wasteful. We're constantly donating, constantly giving products away to people that we know and stuff. And it's a great problem to have, and I feel very, very grateful. But it's gotten out of hand. It really has. I look like a hoarder, skincare hoarder. You don't speak Spanish. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like the most fluent person. I wouldn't say like Spanish is my main language or anything like that, but I speak Spanish pretty well. I grew up in a household where my dad's first language was Spanish, and then obviously on his side of his family, they speak Spanish. In New Mexico, where I grew up, everyone speaks a little bit more Spanglish, so I think it kind of ruins your ability to speak fluent Spanish because of that. But I did study in Spain for a little while, for a whole entire summer, and I'd say my Spanish got really good when I got a Spanish boyfriend who only spoke Spanish. People don't guess that you're half Latina. That's not true. So it's weird. It's like anytime I'm in like a group of Latinos, like with my family and stuff like that, I think the assumption is I'm just Latino. But then when I'm like with a bunch of Asians, the assumption is I'm just Asian. And then when I'm just in a mix of people, no one can figure out what my ethnicity is. It's kind of funny. It's like being a mixed kid, nobody can ever really figure out what you are. You're going to come out with your own beauty line one day. You know, I'm not going to say I'm never going to do it, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not planning anything. If you guys think I'm planning like a skincare line or a beauty line or anything like that, there's nothing, absolutely nothing in the works. I get thoughts here and there, but I actually think the market is unbelievably saturated. I've been working in the beauty industry for like 2 decades basically, and the amount of skincare brands and just beauty brands in general that have come out is mind-boggling to me. There used to be a time where I would know every brand that anyone ever mentioned to me, and now it's like every single day somebody will ask me about a brand, and there are definitely times when I'm like, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of this brand before. At the end of the day, I think like having a basic skincare routine is pretty much the same for everybody, and then you like pick and choose the things that you're gonna add to it according to your skincare needs after that. So it's one of those things where it's like, is there that much in the market that I think needs to be replaced, or do I need to fill a void or something like that? If I feel like I can create a product or products that are really different or needed in this industry, then I'll do it. But other than that, I probably won't. All right, next one. You're very close with your parents. I am very close with my parents. I love my parents. You know, I think we've just been through a lot together. My parents, my mom is, you know, she's an immigrant from Korea. My dad actually grew up in the United States, but he grew up really rough, you know, like times weren't always that easy for him. And I think like, you know, growing up together, they were young parents and stuff. My parents are only in their 50s. They're approaching their 60s though. My mom's actually going to be 60 this year. So they're actually really young. They had me young. And you know, we went through a lot. Like they neither of them had their college education or anything. And both of them had first languages that were not English. So that was a lot to, you know, grow up with, especially as I'm like the oldest. I'm the oldest in the family. So I was always the one having to like write letters for them and like help them with like job stuff and, you know, just like a lot of, you know, interesting things growing up that made me feel like I grew up like really quickly when I was younger. But my parents really emphasized, you know, family, like family first. It's all about family. You don't have anything if you don't have your family. You know, like those were really like qualities and things that my dad specifically, my dad really emphasized. And I don't know, I think it just really helped to like it helps to be close to your family and be close to your parents. And I'm really close with my parents. All right, next one, moving back to skincare. You think you're better than a dermatologist. I don't think I'm better than a dermatologist, okay? I will say that dermatologists, like, they have their purpose and they're not all the same. You know, like, everybody's human, right? Like, same with estheticians. Everyone's educated. They're like, they've got their knowledge of what they know, what they have experienced, what they've learned, and all that kind of stuff. You can't just go to one dermatologist and be like, yes, everything that person said is exactly, it's like perfect, right? This is the way everything has to be. You will find that if you see different dermatologists, they'll all have different opinions. And I think that that's just what the skincare industry is all about, is everyone has different opinions. There aren't that many like really, really factual, super studied, you know, information out there about skincare specifically. And, you know, dermatologists are there to diagnose you, right? Like, they're there to really, when you've got an issue, that's when you go see a dermatologist. That's a lot of the time when people go see a dermatologist. Or they're there to administer some kind of a treatment, filler, Botox, lasers, any of that kind of thing. So do I think I'm better than a dermatologist? I don't think I'm better than anybody. Do I think I know a lot about skincare? Absolutely. Do I know more than a dermatologist about skincare? Sometimes. You're confident without makeup because your skincare is so good. I am pretty confident without makeup these days. I'm also just lazy, and I also don't give a shit about it, really. Like, sometimes I do. I feel like whenever I go out without makeup, that's when somebody approaches me, and I kind of want to be like, but isn't my skin glowing? So I'm kind of okay with it. I'm pretty okay with going out without makeup. You only show products that have been sponsored in your videos. You know, that's not true. I know it feels like this industry is like, it's like everyone just shows everything sponsored, and it's really hard to tell what is sponsored, what isn't sponsored, and everything. I would say I disclose everything. Like, you're gonna find that if I'm doing anything that's sponsored, I'm gonna tell you, whether it's gonna be in the description box, whether I'm gonna say it verbally in the video. But I also just wanna make sure that I'm, you know, like, spreading good information. I'd say like 30% of my content is sponsored or has some kind of a sponsored element to it. The rest does not. Skincare reaction videos can't be sponsored. I don't even know how I would get that sponsored because there's so many different products in it, and it's somebody else's routine in general that I'm looking at. Every single time I tell you guys, I don't really like to use face oils, or I don't use eye cream at night. You know what what happens every time I tell you I don't think a product is necessary? There goes brand, there goes another brand, and I'm not getting sponsored with this one. So every time I'm being really honest with you guys too, it's like, you know, there's this balance that has to kind of happen. I'm not independently wealthy, so I have to take some sponsorship. I have an entire team for Mixed Makeup that I have to pay too. I think they want to be happy as well. So there's a balance of sponsored, but I try to be very honest with you guys. And also, I'll point out, with all of my sponsored content, I always want to make sure I give you guys information that's helpful and that's actual like factual information and my real opinion. And I always love the products or the brands that I'm talking about. I, in the past, made the mistake of, you know, taking sponsorships just purely because they were paying me and it was an okay product or something. And I've learned that I get feedback from you guys. And I want to make sure that the feedback I'm getting from you is positive feedback, or at least, like, you know, a right criticism or something that's not out of like left field or something. I want to make sure that you guys are happy and you feel like everything is honest and you're coming back for more information. All right, next one is you cook a lot at home. You know what's funny is when I was first dating my husband, it's all I did was cook. I think he feels like I duped him because he like married this woman who was all about cooking and stuff. And I really love to cook. I actually think I'm a good cook. But as I've gotten busier, I've become a mom. My business has gotten a lot busier. I'm just exhausted. I have less time. I just don't cook anymore. So Postmates has become my best friend. All right, this one's funny. You get facials every week. I actually don't get facials every week. I actually think that if I got a facial every week, it might make my skin freak out a little bit. I do get a facial pretty much like on a monthly basis. That doesn't mean it's always the best facial. If I had my choice, I would be at one specific esthetician's office like once every single month, because I have like my favorite estheticians here in Los Angeles. But we are constantly trying different treatments and different estheticians and, you know, just bouncing around and stuff for videos for you guys. So I do get a lot of facials, but I don't get one weekly. This is a good one. You didn't have to work, but chose to. God, how I wish, you guys. You know, here's the thing about me is if I didn't have to work, I actually wouldn't work. I'm that kind of a person. I'd be like, don't have to work. See ya. No, I am not independently wealthy. My husband works really, really hard. And what's really funny is when I quit my job to start mixed makeup 5 years ago, I kind of just told him this is what I was going to be doing. And we were not like at all doing great. We weren't doing terribly either. And, you know, we were both kind of like in the middle of our careers. And I was like, yeah, I've got, you know, I've saved $10,000 and I'm going to start a business. And he was just kind of like, oh crap. And he even actually said to me, he's like, you know, I didn't sign up to marry somebody that was going to be a housewife or anything, right? Like, this is not the one income kind of family that I imagined I was going to be living in. And I was like, don't you worry, honey. And guess what? It paid off. This one's really funny. You secretly love makeup wipes. I don't. I did. I think everyone, you know, like I get all these DMs from you guys and comments and stuff saying, you know, like, I can't give up the makeup wipe. And I feel you. I really do. Makeup wipes are so convenient. I had to almost like wean myself off of them, which is not a bad thing. It's like, you know, like slowly stop using them and stuff. And then when you don't have them anymore and you really get in your routine, you're solid. But I don't love makeup wipes. I really don't. You guys know, I actually hate makeup wipes. This is when assumptions start getting good. You like to eat really healthy and very rarely have unhealthy cravings. Oh my goodness. I am the worst when it comes to healthy food. I actually go back and forth. Like while I'm pregnant, I'm really not that healthy, but funny enough, I've been really dehydrated now towards the end of my pregnancy. So I've been wanting things like salad and fruit and stuff. And I think it's just because I want like liquid. I want like water and hydration. But man, I love burgers. I love burgers and fries. And I love candy. I eat a lot of candy. I'm not that healthy, you guys. I go off and on. I know how to be healthy, but I'm not always. I go back and forth. All right, so this one says, you came from a well-educated family. I wish I did, actually. I really did. I'm the first person in my entire family to go to college and finish. One thing that my mom always instilled in me is that I needed to go to college because she felt like she really struggled a lot, her and my dad, because they didn't go to college and they felt like, you know, they lost a lot of opportunities and promotions or jobs and stuff like that because they didn't go to college. And it was one of those things that my mom always kind of like threw at me. It doesn't mean that my parents and my family aren't smart. I actually think they're very like street smart, common sense kind of people. But you know, it's not something that we had. I really was the first person in my entire family to go to college and really like pave that way. So I'm proud of that. And I do wish though, I think life would have been easier to be with, you know, be from a family that's very well educated. Ooh, this one's a funny one. Veneers added once I became Insta popular. First off, I'll say I'm not that Insta popular. I'm not even at 100,000 yet. I'm really close. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. But I don't have veneers. I just got braces not too long ago. That I would never have even bothered with braces. You know how hard and annoying it was to deal with braces and have like a lisp and stuff and like not be able to eat certain things? I would have never dealt with it if I had veneers. And also, I would have made a video about my veneers. So I don't have veneers, you guys. I just have big white teeth. This is actually a true one. You enjoy proving people wrong about skincare. Oh, I do. God, I love it. I don't know why. I love being so right about skincare. Sometimes I'm wrong and I admit it. I admit it very like, you know, I'm kind of like, fine, sure. Yeah, let's move on from the topic. If I'm wrong, I can be wrong about skincare too, but I love to be right. I just like to be right. Like period, just in general. I love to be right. You fart a lot. Now I do. Lately I do. I am so gassy while pregnant. I do. I can't control this, but I do have a rule in our marriage. Some people think this is absolutely insane, but I have a rule in our marriage that if you're not sick, you have to go to the restroom to fart, because I think it's disgusting. And I think that over time in marriage, you lose all like anything that makes you sexy or secretive or anything like that. You lose all of that because like everything's out in the open. So at least keep the farts to yourself, right? Let's see. You get affected by comments online. Okay, here's the funny thing. When someone like insults me, I'm not affected by that. But when somebody says something that I just think is incorrect, that affects me. Like if they say like, oh, like your face is, like you look really old, like your skincare sucks or something like that. I'm like, no, my skincare is really good. It's really, really good. Then I'm like really upset about it because I'm like, they're just wrong. This person is wrong. But for the most part, it's really, you know, I've been on the internet for a really long time, you guys. I didn't own mixed makeup. I didn't run mixed makeup my entire career, but I have been part of like the digital world since like 2003, working for media companies. And I know a thing or two about trolls. And it doesn't really affect me. If anything, I find it really entertaining and hilarious. This one's funny. You're thinking about becoming an esthetician. No, I'm not. I talk about it all the time, but here's the thing. I do know a lot about skincare and application, ingredients, that kind of stuff, but do I want to work on anyone's skin, like on their actual faces and stuff? Not really. I feel like when you train to be an esthetician, one of the big things that you're training for is to know how to deal with someone's skin, especially in an emergency. And I don't really want to do that. That's not what I want to deal with. I want to continue just like educating myself about skincare, knowing about skin issues, ingredients, all of that good stuff. This one is, you like expensive brands more than affordable ones. That's not necessarily true, because I think there's like a cutoff, right? Like I think some brands are just so unbelievably expensive, it's unnecessary, and there's just no point, right? Do I like affordable brands? Sometimes I do. There are definitely some like drugstore brands that I think are just really good staples that you should stick with. I tend to find that the brands that are kind of in the middle are the ones that are like the sweet spot for me, but it has nothing to do with the pricing. I wish all skincare was affordable and pretty much around the same price, because it would be a whole different ballgame and a whole different industry. But I don't choose things because they're like bougie or nice. This one's funny. They're all funny, you guys. I force my husband to have a skincare routine. I actually don't force him to have a skincare routine. That man had a skincare routine before I met him. He still has a skincare routine. And the only thing that I have a say is when he has some kind of a reaction to something, I switch into something a little bit more simple or that works better for him. And sometimes I'll give him products, like if he's asking about an issue that he feels like he's dealing with, I'll obviously give him a product that I think would be great for him. I've actually moved him down to using really simple, non-reactive kind of products, because I do think that he sometimes will use stuff that's a little bit, that has like too many ingredients or like too much fragrance for him or something, because I do think that he's got sensitive skin. It reacts a lot. And truly, like the thing I've been working on him the most about is wearing more SPF. He's a brown guy, and he thinks he doesn't need to wear that much SPF, but that is not true. So those were the assumptions. There were actually a ton of assumptions. I just can't answer them all in one video. I feel like you guys would just start to get bored or something. So that was really fun. Thank you so much for sending me your assumptions. That was hilarious, some of it. Feel free to like, throw in some more down in the comments. Maybe I'll answer or something. Find me on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.